Hello, my name is Dr. Derek Watson. I'm an Associate Professor at the University of Sunderland. And the title of my video today is Business Studies Alive and Kicking at the University of Sunderland. So the question I ask students before they decide which course they would like to do is, what are your life plans? And invariably, just like business executives, they haven't really thought about the short-term, medium and long-term goals. And what you've got to think about is, the longer you spend thinking about what you'd like to do in life, we've got to appreciate that time keeps ticking by. So we've really got to try and arrange a plan, a strategy, rather like a business, and identify what suits you. Because we've all got a shelf life. And no matter what qualification that you do, or what career that you embark in, you have to create impacts. If you're not creating impacts, you are vulnerable. And what I tell my students is, if you go to work for an organisation and they pay you £30,000, invariably you have to generate 3 times that amount. So you've got to think about this with your educational studies. What impact are you going to try and make to maintain the longevity of your shelf life? Now, there are a bunch of qualifications out there and just as many universities to select from. And a lot of students are thinking about, well, maybe I should put off because of C-19 pandemic. The vast majority of students enrolling on our courses today initially thought that, but they appreciate time and business does not stand still. So it's an ideal opportunity to embark on your educational career. But it's challenging. Quite often students feel as though, rather like new recruits in an organisation, do they have the competence and ability? But what I can tell you is, if you embark on a business studies course, whether it's an undergraduate business studies course or a postgraduate, rather like the Masters of Business Administration, this is an international passport. But you've also got to think about branding. Which university would you like to apply to? And there are many league tables, but what I would suggest that you do is be very wary when you look at league tables or the rankings of universities. Rather like organisations out there, you can get a lot of exposure from a small to medium-sized organisation, just like you can with certain universities, such as the University of Sunderland. So what are the key drivers in the selection? And a bit like the recruitment process when you're applying for jobs. You've got to look at a university that's going to provide you with a unique selling point. What's going to make you stand out from the crowd? And what I say to students is, you almost are, assume yourself, you are tins of beans in the supermarket. Who is going to come along and pick you up? And this is very much so when you get to the interview stage in the recruitment. What makes you stand out from other students in the application and interview process? You also want to embark on a program whereby it gives you visibility. You're a brand, you've got to promote yourself. But you also, like in life, you need almost like a satellite navigation system. You need to embark on a program which has clear pinch points throughout the program to check to make sure that you're getting your full potential, full exposure from your learning experience. And you need to embark on a program which has a curriculum. Now, the curriculum that we have at the University of Sunderland is evolving. So if you enroll on our program, we will be delivering live case studies, research dissemination of 2021. It'll be very current, and this will help you when you get to the job market. So you're not talking about historical events in the main, you'll be talking about current practices that are happening in the world of work. Now, to do this, we have a rich blend of academics at the University of Sunderland. We have that unique blend of academics who have academic qualifications, doctors, PhDs, but equally so, and possibly more importantly, they have commercial experience. So when you come to class, you won't just learn about the theory and practice, you will learn about commercial insights, up-to-date commercial insights, because a lot of the academics are conducting live consultancies. And what they are finding out there in the world of work is that there is a huge demand for innovation, creativity, and knowledge transfer. So the type of modules that you'll take, the key denominators focus on knowledge acquisition, acquiring information from journals and articles, up-to-date journals and articles of 2021, and applying that knowledge to live case studies. And T.S. Eliot mentioned the phrase, between the idea and reality falls the shadow. So when you come in our courses, we reduce that commercial shadow. So when you go for your job interviews, you're talking about current events, current organisations that are hitting the news headlines. You'll also develop the skill of team dynamics, which is very important in the world of work. Now, the difference between a team and a group has a hierarchy, strongest at the top, weakest at the bottom. What we develop with our programs is a team dynamic, where everyone, rather like a winning football team, we're all on the same level. And we play as a team. And you develop that technique from day one of the program. And what we can do is we can look at case studies. And what you'll do is you'll share the responsibilities, very much like the world of work. 2 heads are always better than 1 in working up a commercially viable solution within that. We also offer internships, and now because of C19 we're offering virtual internships. So from day one you'll have these opportunities to work with live organisations on real problems, and when you come to present your findings you'll talk about the problem, how you researched it, and also your recommendations. And a tip what I give executives as well as students is don't just come up with one solution, have a plan A and a plan B. But we'll coach you through this process. The good thing about the business studies degrees and the MBA programs, they open many doors. Meaning, when you see the job market and you want to apply for a job with potential, with a good career, you can adapt your CV based on the modules that you've been taught or you've enrolled with. So for example, it could be a marketing position that you would like to apply for. So what you'll do is you'll tweak your CV based off your marketing modules which you've taken, and you'll emphasise that possibly more so than the other modules that you'll study. Now, going through university, there are many opportunities. And remember that example that I said, you may look like a tin of beans. What's going to differentiate you? So going through university, you've paid your fees. So what you need to do is you need to think about how much employability exposure can you get? Because the more employability exposure that you get, when you get to the job interview, you start talking, not like a student, like a prospective executive. I've mentioned about the live case studies. So once again, you'll gain insights into leadership. You look at conflict resolution. You look at motivational strategy. You look at how to reduce stress and how to develop a positive learning culture or working culture out there. All key vital skills which you'll take to the job interview that will hopefully secure a future career. But the curriculum is with progression. So we have academics, as I've said, that not only teach, they conduct consultancy. So they'll be bringing in live case studies into the curriculum for you to immerse yourself with and to get that richness of the educational journey. And we like to think our time, or your time at the University of Sunderland, is memorable. So don't look to your degree if it's a 3 or 4 year degree, and I would strongly recommend that you go for the 4 year because you get the 1 year industrial placement, which once again embeds that commercial insights ready for you to launch yourself in the job market. But what we have is a process. It's a model. We have inputs, transformation, output. So imagine a washing machine. So you start on the program, you are the input. We then feed you into the washing machine, the transformational process, where you get exposure to knowledge, skills, commercial exposure, and also student life, where you can experiment who you are, what you want to be, and this helps mold you into a more polished individual. Exiting, we like to think you will exit as a graduate within that. And you'll need to dress for the part. So a lot of the assignments that you'll undertake, you will actually wear professional clothes, suit and tie, or clothing which is very relevant to the world of work. Because if you dress the part, you feel the part as well. Now, the types of instructors that you'll get, they're not the type of military instructor, but they will, like managers, they will make you accountable of your contribution. And what they will be doing is they'll be looking out there, rather like a supervisor or a manager in the workplace. They'll be looking at you and identifying, is this person contributing? Or are they being carried by fellow colleagues? Do they demonstrate leadership skills? Are they coming up with innovative and commercially acceptable solutions? So your education is a bit like flying. It's not how you start, it's how you finish and exit through graduation. We have an excellent team. We do indeed. And I'm very proud of our team at the university. And we have a rich blend of academics who've got various qualifications, industrial qualifications, but also life skills and commercial insights. And they'll share that knowledge with you to create a learning culture, which is equally very important in the world of work. Like organisations who have human resource management systems, we will have systems to support you because life is quite often unpredictable. So quite often things happen which you don't expect, and we'll develop support systems through our student services, our wellbeing, our counselling services to support you, to create a very good learning culture. And this will be akin to the organisations which you'll start to work with, whereby they will offer support and people management skills to get you through these challenging times in work and also out of work. We also like to think that we create a team within the student community rather than a group. You will make friends, you will network, which is equally very important in the world of work. You will network with fellow students on your course, but also other programs. And you'll develop this rich bond. And I dare say the vast majority of you will keep those friendships right through your life, as I've done. Muhammad Ali came out the famous saying, who was the former world champion boxer. Muhammad Ali said, before you can be a leader, you've got to think that you are a leader. And this is one of the key ingredients that we feed in through our programs. And this is one attribute that you'll take to the workplace. So when you're working with colleagues, you will start to disseminate or communicate that you have leadership qualities nurtured from your undergraduate or postgraduate program. But like the world of work, in education, it's one of yin and yang, work-life balance. And what I tell my students is, which I teach, is one of work hard, play hard. It's not only about the knowledge acquisition, it's about the application of this. And this is what you'll need to do in the world of work. Balance your work between possibly your family, your time, your friends, and potentially future qualifications that you'll embark on. But be realistic. Your education program is not like a special forces assault course, where it's high intensity. And what I say to my students, like managers out in the field, expect 70% from your workforce, Monday to Friday. If you're expecting 100%, you might get that, but eventually employees and students' batteries wane and the productivity drops. So work on 70%. And also, never say the F word, the fail word. And keep this when you're in the world of work. You'll hit challenges, but the skills and abilities that you learn on our programs will give you the confidence. You will work through it. You may have to sleep on the problem, but you'll work up a solution. And also, very much like the workforce, it's a family affair. You need to include your family on your learning journey, your educational journey, and also your world of work. Because if you don't include them, they won't understand why you've had a good day or a bad day. You need that self-support system, which you'll get from the team dynamics. Just like in the world of work, you need to manage your academic tutors. And we all have different personalities. So you need to identify what personality your supervisor or your lecturer is, And also, when you start working, what is the behavioural patterns, and try to predict when is the right time to approach your line manager and when is the time to step back and try to identify a more suitable time. But always back it up with email output. What we encourage students to do is seek help. And that's not running with an empty plate to your tutor. Always have something that you can offer whoever you go to ask for help. So if it's the world of work, before you ask something of your line manager, always have something on tap which you can tell them the good work that you're doing. But seek help, and help will be provided. Quite often you might feel stress. Life is full of stress, but we'll develop coping mechanisms. So it might be sport, activities, hobbies, interests. But I remember my professor talking to me and saying, yes, well, Derek, I understand this is a problem in your life, but you've got to pick yourself up, dust yourself down, and crack on. You are paid for performance in the world of work. So we will make you accountable for your output, but don't forget, we will have support systems. You will not be left alone. Now, quite often students say, and also in the world of work, that they never have enough time. My question to you guys is, do a schedule. And what I mean by a schedule is Monday to Sunday, and you'll pepper in when you've got your class time, and also when you want to socialise. So we encourage our students not to do any work on a Friday evening or a Saturday evening. That's when you should be out enjoying your life and experimenting. But throughout the day, there will be pockets of time, 45-minute bite-sized pieces. So if you populate your schedule when you've got class time, when you're going to the gym, or whether you're going to the movies, or whether you're going to socialise with your friends, pepper that in and identify those evenings whereby you can dedicate possibly Monday to Thursday within that. Or during the day, you'll have an opportunity. It might be a 45-minute window, which I've talked about. But if you've got a plan at the beginning of the week, you know exactly what you've got to do. And the students that we tutor, quite often, they will get most of their work done during the daytime, leaving their evening times invariably free to socialise or rest. Now, what we do tell students, and I do work with executives, and they say, well, I'm stressed out, I'm working really hard. Students need to ask themselves the question, if they say tonight they go home and they start working from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m, a 3-hour window, but is it really 3 hours of study? On closer inspection, you kind of drift in to work and you drift out of work. So really, it's rather like the bell curve. And out of that 3-hour window, you may at best do 1.5 hours. So if you plan your time wisely, you needn't do 3-hour study stints. In fact, I would argue that you should never do that. But what you need to do is identify free pockets of time, 45 minutes, an hour and a half, and you know exactly what you're going to do. And go somewhere where you're focused and you can develop your study skills and your knowledge acquisition. Group work, very important, bit like in the world of work, whereby you will have appraisals. So what I encourage our students to do whilst they're on university studies is, if you've got any group work, develop a contract, identify what is acceptable. Attending meetings, quality of work, contribution in meeting, and also keeping positive. And what you will do is you'll develop your own appraisal systems, and then when you're working on the group work, or should I say teamwork, you're not being personal. These are the rules which you've identified and you're working towards. However, we do always have those periods in our life or during the week where we feel tired. And we call this procrastination. It's where you've got your computer on, you're looking at the screen, but you're not really typing. So what I recommend to my students is, what I recommend to my students is that they either go to the gym, they go for a walk, a change of scenery, and then come back, or even scrap the study period and go out and do something different. Or you could actually switch on your internet, type into TED Talks, key in topics such as leadership, motivation, conflict, or innovation, and see what videos come up. And I guarantee you, by doing that, you'll identify knowledge, which you may not have already been introduced to, but it'll give you new ideas and also incentives to start rewriting or developing your assignments or presentations. Now, the key to getting through your degree course is one of research. So what you will do, you'll be given a recommended textbook, but what we encourage our students to do is to focus on journal papers. These are up-to-date research publications, and the skills you require will help you, once you start working, to help research specific organizational challenges, whether they are strategic, tactical, or operational. And also, we will talk about creating your own individual brand. Now, this is very important when you're in the office and you're working with co-workers, because they may not be talking to you, but they will be judging you. So once again, keep that mind in. How do you develop a team dynamic? Making a plan at the beginning of the week, what you want to do, and each day you make a list, and as you go through the list, you tick them off. And what you don't complete is on the following day's list. I also encourage students and executives to keep a diary. Each day, give yourself a mark out of 10. If you're having a great day, it could be 8 out of 10. If you're having a bad day, it could be a 3 or a 4, or possibly a -1. But regardless, accountability. If you're having a good day, write down the reasons why you're having a good day. And if you're having a bad day, what are the issues that are causing you to have that bad day? And at the end of the week, reflect back, and I guarantee you, the reasons that make you happy will be recurring, and those problems that are bringing you down or making you feel stressed will be recurring. So you'll be able to identify what you need to change in your daily schedule with that process of self-accountability, and continue that technique throughout the world of work. In life, also, always have a backup. So USB, the cloud, or print. But I guess if we're looking at the environmental, not so much printing, always back it up in the cloud and the USB. And keep datal records of repeat savings of the same document. I have mentioned it earlier, the importance of networking. And to do this, you need to have your CV at the ready, because you never know opportunities whereby somebody is going to offer you a part-time job or a full-time job, or in the world of work, promotion, or to work for an alternative company. So networking is the key to this. And what you've got to do is, a bit like the empty plate, how can you help others and others help you? And quite often, if you give something, invariably you get something back. So be prepared to help people. And what I recommend students to do is develop, like executives, what we call a capsule profile. A 60-second resume of who you are and what you're doing and what you'd like to achieve in life. And you might think 60 seconds isn't sufficient, but if you look at most commercials, they last between 30 seconds and 45 seconds. We call that the capsule profile, and it's something that you'll constantly keep revising and developing as you go through your life. So when somebody asks you at a job interview, tell me something about you, you've got a 60-second pitch that will come across very articulate and informed. But we'll also address this on the educational program. Also, going back to the tin of beans for the third time, think about how you can develop your resume. What can you put on differently that other students can't do? Because this will help you in the job market. Key one is employability, possibly charity work, extracurriculum activities, and this needs to be constantly being revised. And if you have part-time work, maybe paid or unpaid because of the economic climate, put down the role, what you are expected to do, but also those activities which you went above and beyond your role, showing initiative. This will speak volumes when you get to the job market. Now, with regards to employability, employers will be checking you out. So check your Facebook, your Instagram, your LinkedIn, your social media platforms. And what I do encourage our students to do is to wipe out their existing Facebooks and rebuild them. Their LinkedIn profiles, rebuild, and constantly have evidence that you're not the typical student. There's something individual and very special about you, because you can guarantee when you go for a job interview, your future employers, potential future employers, will have already conducted a social media search. So if they're seeing the wrong things, you're already not going to get the interview, and you may never find out the real reason for that. Now, going through university is full of emotions, like in life. But the team dynamic of the academics at the University of Sunderland will support you. Your fellow students, you'll develop a team dynamic with them, self-support systems. And quite often, students think about leaving their programme a minimum of 2 times. A bit like when you're working, you want to walk away from a job at least 2 times. That's when your friends and your co-workers come in for support. And also, keep a reflective log, like what I've said. What are you enjoying about life? What are you seeing as the positives as well as the negatives? But you've got to have this upbeat emotion, because life is difficult. However, life at the university is full of diversity. You will be given live assignments. You'll be working on campus, off campus. You'll have virtual interactions with live organisations, and you will grow. And what I tell students to do, take a photograph on day 1, what you look like, and take a photograph each year as you go through university. You will see your physical changes. This is nothing compared to your cognitive development, your emotional development. And with the employability, support, job interview skills that we'll give you, when you sat in a job interview, you'll be very mindful on winning techniques to secure that career with progression. So when you get to graduation, you most doubt will have a job already in the offer, but you'll graduate at the Stadium of Light, our football stadium, which is the top 10 in the world, and it is a memorable occasion. Your parents will be there, and you need to look back and identify exactly how you've changed and how you can contribute to the world of work. If you have any questions, please get in touch with me. My name is Dr. Derek Watson, Associate Professor at the University of Sunderland, and my email is derek.watson@sunderland.ac.uk. Thank you for listening, and best of luck with your studies and your future world of work. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Profesorius Derekas Watsonas, Sunderlando universiteto atstovas, ką tik jums pristatė apie progresuojančias verslo studijas. Labai trumpai, labai glaustai apie tai, kuo šitas The University of Sunderland yra patrauklus.
Tai kalbėti galima būtų daug, kadangi laikų turim pakankamai mažai. Tai prisiminsiu, kad tai turbūt vienas iš pirmųjų universitetų, kurį man teko aplankyti komandiruotės metu. Tai tikrai fantastiška vieta. Tai yra prie Šiaurės jūros įsikūręs universitetas. Labai jaukus, aš palyginimą turbūt lyginčiau panašiai, kaip mūsų vienas iš didesnių didmiesčių būtų. Ir ką profesorius turbūt minėjo, aš labiausiai gal akcentą dėčiau ties to, ką jisai kalbėjo, tai būtent apie pačią programą, apie verslą, kurią siūlo pats universitetas. Tai akcentai buvo labai gerai sudėlioti pačio profesoriaus, kalbėdamas apie tai, kuo jisai yra patrauklus, kaip specialybė, tai tikrai yra labai daug praktikos. Ir išskirtinumą, jeigu užfiksavo, tikrai kalbėjo apie tai, kad galimi yra praktikos metai, kurie trunka 1 metus. Man labai patiko profesoriaus įsakytos mintys, iš tikrųjų, ką veikia studentai universitete, šalia to, kad jie studijuoja verslą, kad jie yra mokinami pasiruošti savo CV būsimam darbdaviui, kad jiem yra duodami tipsai, kad reikia elementariai patį Facebooką susitvarkyti, kada tu potencialiai eini į darbo pokalbį, kadangi pokalbį metu tikrai prieš jį ar po bus patikrintas tavo Facebookas. Lygiai taip pačiai pasirašiau, kad kontaktų rinkimas universitete, ir čia yra taikoma turbūt ne tik tai verslui, bet tikrai ta tarptautinė aplinka, kurioje studijuoja studentai, ypatingai versle yra tikrai skatinami tai, kad jie bendrautų su savo grupiokais, paralelinių, ten reiškia studijų studentais, tam, kad studijų metai surinkti kontaktai vėliau jiems būtų naudingi, kuriant verslą.